are San Diego, and as always, so excited to come to you with something very important to talk about. Of course, Tammy, we never really don't have anything good to talk about because we love to talk. I've been in, excuse me, as I have a frog in my throat. I've been in relationships where the guys are like, you talk too much. I go, well, then you're not the guy for me. It's pretty simple. So today we're talking about something very, very, very serious. But before I jump into the nature of what we're going to talk about, we have a special guest today as well. The backdrop today is Little Italy. For those of you who have often wondered what the skyline of Little Italy looks like, you've got it right here. This is a multi-million-dollar view right here behind us. But then again, everywhere in San Diego is kind of a cool view if you think about it, right, Tammy?
Yes. Yes.
I mean, we've done some podcasts in some cool places. Last week we were in the Marina District.
We've done it from restaurants,
Yeah, today we're in the Marina. Today we're in Little Italy, and specifically we are at a very high-end apartment development by Lennar Homes, LMC, giving them a shout out, called Luma. And everybody in San Diego that moves, they want to be at Luma. It's pretty crazy how insane. And I've been I was the third resident here, and I love living here. So I'm happy to say this is my third year, and I wouldn't choose any other place to call home. And you live in a fantastic spot also, East Village.
Right.
You can't go wrong. You've got Petco Park. You've got...
Right next to Petco Park.
You've got, everything that you walk to that you love, you know.
The office.
The
everywhere.
office. Hi. Which the gas lamps. Crazy.
Yes.
So today, guys, we are talking about, in light of what has been going on the last 3 years, and I don't want to give it a title because we've overdosed on COVID and the pandemic. Our lives have been rocked, and we've touched upon this in previous podcasts before, where when you're going through a challenge or a transition or a fresh start for that matter, it's super important to think about how you manage those transitions. And you and I both have been through a shit ton in the few years that we've known each other and prior. And today we have a guest named Ashley, and she happens to be a kick-ass girl that I have known for some years. She's a single parent. She's managed to raise her children all by herself while hustling, as women mostly do when you're single and have no choice but to hustle, because failure is not an option. And while going through transitions and starting that fresh start for yourself, our anxiety tends to kick in, and we start to second guess ourselves, and we start to doubt ourselves and wonder, am I making the right decisions? Am I going to be okay? And then we stress, and then panic attacks, and then this whole effing rabbit hole that we just all of a sudden start spiraling down into presents itself. So I wanted to talk today, especially, with a lot of what's going on TV in the world around us. Unfortunately, what's going on in Ukraine, a lot of people that have Ukrainian family that are experiencing this, their mental health is off the chart. Suicide is off the charts. There is just so much going on where our mental health just comes into play, where we have to manage it effectively. So today we're going to talk about fresh starts. We're going to talk about how to manage your mental health while going through those transitions. And I first and foremost want to introduce my beautiful co-host, Tammy K, who is, twice the Tammy, twice the fun.
Yes, I am the other half of that Tammy.
And she's blonde, just in case you guys are wondering.
In case you didn't notice.
So you're kind of getting like an Oreo cookie.
Yes.
Or a blondie or a brownie.
Two Tammys, that's just better than one.
Well,
so.
for guys who have that, whatever fantasy you guys have, I don't know. You're getting twice the fun is what I'm saying. And we also have a special guest today. Beautiful Ashley is with us. Ashley, welcome.
Thank you.
This is your first podcast.
My first podcast.
And you are also studying to become a real estate agent, which we are so excited about because I'm going to pat myself on the back, and I'm going to pat Tammy on the back too. If you're going to learn real estate, you want to learn from two badass bitches. It's pretty simple. And between Tammy and I, we have over how many years of experience?
Well, I'm going on my 18th year.
And I'm going on my 5th year.
Yeah.
So we've got 23 years of experience.
Yes.
And I have been told, and I'm sure you've been told by many, and I mean this in the most endearing, sincere way, because there are a lot of really good agents out there, but there are also a lot of shitty agents out there. Let's just call a spade a spade.
1,000%. And you can be in the business for 20 years and be a horrible agent, or you can be in the business for 1 year and be a horrible agent.
Right.
So you just need to learn how to be a good agent.
Right. And I've been told, and I know, Tammy, you've been told, we are the hardest working agents in the business. And I mean that in the most respectful way to any of my colleagues out there that are agents. I mean, I don't know anybody else who answers their phone or texts back at midnight like we do. Right. I don't know anybody else who's working on an offer or a seller counter or a multiple counter at 2 a.m. because we can't sleep. And we fight tooth and nail to get our clients credits and not leave any money on the table. Right. So my point is, welcome. So tell us a little bit about yourself. I mean, tell us a little bit about why you're deciding to, first of all, you're a mother. And you are getting into real estate, which we are so excited about. And tell us a little bit about your fresh start, your journey into managing mental health through all of this stuff that you're going through.
Yes, so I need a fresh start, and that's really why I'm looking for one. I want some independency and some control and things that I think have really been the reasons why my mental health hasn't been in check, because I've been so out of control of my own life.
Yeah.
And so, I've really been inspired being in the real estate area, being in property management, being surrounded by real estate agents. I've been seeing the opportunity, and so for me, this is my way of managing my mental health, is taking a fresh start, is deciding I can do more for myself, I can do it by myself, but surrounded by amazing people. And so I've been in property management for 12 years, and I've really just been stagnant. And
I'm your favorite resident, right?
My absolute favorite.
Right. That's yeah, good. Okay,
yes.
great.
And really, it's been so much of your encouragement too. I mean, yesterday, just alone, I brought up that I wanted to start, or that I was starting to do it, and you said, tomorrow we're doing a podcast. Tomorrow you're going to come walk with me.
Yep.
Are you ready? Because let's do it. And I haven't had anyone come my way that just says, do it.
Yeah.
It's, that's a great idea.
You
or
need
that's
a
going
push.
to be fun, you know? And so I've just been really open to this fresh start and really open to owning it and talking about it. Yeah. And the more I've done that, the more I've, accepted new opportunity and new people. And so.
Well, the good thing about having mentors, and Tammy's really good about this, because with our office, Berkshire Hathaway Home Services, California Gas Lamp office, she heads up the mentee program. And basically what that means is she's a mentor to all of the new agents, and every one of them have excelled. And you do need that mentorship from someone, whether it's two of us or one of us. You need that direction by someone who knows what the F they're doing, because you can easily be led astray with wrong information and misinformation. I mean, Tammy can tell you right now, the mentees that you work with, they're doing transactions, she's following through with them. And what would you say the best advice is for someone like Ashley right now? You run the program, so you kind of know that.
Well, one thing that you're doing that, first of all, that's amazing is joining, with Tammy and myself, because if you have a team behind you, then it's the more support you have, the better. Yeah. I've seen people thrown out there and they have no idea what to do. They're writing offers. They have no clue what's happening. And so I think, for one, teaming up with somebody and having a mentor, and being in some type of program, some kind of regimen, kind of, them showing you the ropes, the contracts, because there's a lot to learn. Yeah. People think real estate's easy. They make it look easy, and sometimes we're really good at making it look easy, but it's not. And there's a lot to learn, and there's a lot to lose. You have to be very careful in what you do, what you say. Your license can be lost in seconds. You just have to be really careful. So I think, going back to what Tammy said, you're doing what you should be doing, and that is going with a team and being mentored by people that have been in the business, that know what they're doing. And you actually have a step up because you've been in property management. You've been around real estate agents. You kind of have an idea of what it takes and what we do. Yeah. And as long as you've got that, then I think you're going to do fine. You just, it's going to be a lot of work, but it's worth it. Yeah, absolutely.
You kind of piggyback on what Tammy just said. You do have to align yourself with knowledgeable, educated individuals. And who you decide to hang your license with is huge as well. Because with Berkshire, we all know Berkshire it's a household name. And, given that Warren Buffett owns Berkshire, they're not going anywhere anytime soon. Right? And having the backing that we have as far as having a powerful legal team. As an agent, you never want your broker to call you. You never want to receive that phone call, right, Tam? Where you're like, okay, what did I do, right? But in the event that something should go awry, you have access. With us and Berkshire, you have access to all of that. So it's so important to align yourself with that, which is why, out the gate, you need to just kind of go, okay, this is what I'm going to do, and this is how it's going to be, and I'm just going to go for it, right? So that's your fresh start. And, you've touched on the catalyst to your fresh start and why. I went through something last year that was a fresh start for me. And I've talked about it previously, which rocked my world. It rocked my health, breast implant illness. And the fresh start for me was just going back to the basics, going back to simple. And I was fortunate enough to have a partner in Tammy who helped me through that, not just mentally, but emotionally, physically, and with my work, because I couldn't get out there and do what I needed to do. So I needed that support system. And if I didn't have her to help carry the load, my mental health would be really bad right now, right? So how we all manage it, what we go through, so our fresh starts are different. Tammy has a cool story. Her fresh start happened many, many years ago, and I know that it's been something very near and dear to her heart that we should be talking about every day, just like mental health, just like what I went through, just to spread awareness, because you never know, and I experienced something today that what we talk about. And whether somebody's listening to the full podcast or snippets on our social media or wherever they might be hearing this, you're making a difference in someone's life. I had a woman reach out to me this morning through Facebook, and she said, I've been following you for a year and your journey to healing, and you've inspired me to have my breast implants removed. Not reduced, nothing else, but removed because I've been so sick. This is a woman that I've never met. So my point is, when you share and be vulnerable about your journey, like Tammy's about to, we're going to touch someone's heart. We're going to touch someone's life, because it could be that one person that's sitting in the room by themselves, struggling with anxiety, strung out on medication, alcohol, whatever they're doing, hotel room, on the side of the road, homeless, wherever you might be. You are safe, and you're in a space where you do have it in you to make that fresh start. It just takes one step. And then it's like climbing a staircase. You don't know how you're going to take the next step. You just have faith that the staircase isn't going to fall. It's sturdy enough to take you, right? And if you hear anything today, whether it's from me, from Ashley, or Tammy, you can do this. And I get emotional about it because we all have suffered, and mental health is very real. So there's hope and there's help. Ashley's doing it. I did it. Tammy's going to share her story about it. And Tammy, yours is one that many people have suffered from. And hats off to you for beating the fuck out of it, because you are here and you're standing. And guess what? You're more successful now. You're the healthiest you've ever been, yes. And you're probably the happiest. So why don't you share a little bit about your fresh start?
So I am first and foremost an alcoholic, and you just met me today. So my alcoholism started very young, and I went through a number of very bad years. And one day in 2019, I looked at myself in the mirror and I said, wow, you look really bad. And previous to that, I had had seizures. I tried to quit on my own and had issues. I mean, my life had changed from, having a 3-bedroom, 3-bath house to owning it and then renting downtown, which was fine because I sold that property. But in all reality, I moved downtown. I was drinking all that money away that I made. Yeah. And I had to, move in with a friend for a very short period of time. And then I was able to move into the place that I'm in now and buy it. But I had to go through getting sober before I could do that. And I should say sober because I'm a non-drinker. If someone were to, throw something else out there, like maybe some weed or something, I might go for that. But I do not drink. But it took me to pull myself up out of that hole and take a couple years off to actually get myself in the right mental state, because literally my brain had to rewire itself. And for about a year, I was all over the place. I called myself wackadoodle, because it was like my brain was just not right. I mean, I was drinking to an excess of, and I have mentioned this to some people, and it's embarrassing, but when I went to check myself in, I blew a .32, and I was walking, and I was talking, and I was very normal per se, and should have probably been dead, and I was a liability, so they could not take me. So they sent me home with anti-seizure medication. I came back the next day, and my journey started when I checked myself into a detox facility for 6 days and did intensive outpatient treatment after that. So a lot of that has to do, obviously, with my mental health. There's reasons why I drank as much as I did, you know, and there's reasons why I have anxiety. A lot of reason why I drank was because I was anxious. I could never have done this before. I could never have sat here and had you guys here, this microphone here, just cameras talking. I could never have done that. But you know, I have the confidence to do that, and it wasn't easy, and it's not easy every day, but I'm better for it, and things happen for a reason. So I want to know what's your story.
Yeah.
Well, thank you for sharing that, because
Of course.
I think that, it kind of stems into where I come from. I grew up in foster care my whole life, and so I came from a family with meth addiction and alcoholism and money issues, and so I grew up being bounced around from home to home, and being the youngest of 4 siblings, 2 I don't know, and 2 who have fetal alcohol syndrome in effect, which my biological mother also has too. So I grew up very quickly, always being the one to be the spokesperson for my siblings, for my family, for choices and things like that. So I decided at 17, when I was in Oregon, I just had enough, and that was my first big transition, was just deciding that I didn't want to stay there, and I had no idea at 17 what I was going to do, but I shipped like 4 boxes of clothes down to San Diego, moved in with a friend for a few months, enrolled myself into high school, and took all my classes at Palomar and dual credited, and never even stepped foot on my campus. I didn't even pick up my diploma or anything. I was just so over that stage of my life. I needed to get over it.
At 17, you did all
17.
that.
I mean, if you think about that, Tammy, as military kids, when our father or whomever the parent was that was in the military, they were always away, right? And we kind of had to assume a role of taking care of the siblings. Like, we assumed mom and dad, or we assumed, and in my case, my dad was always away, and my mother was addicted to medication, and she couldn't be a mother. So I assumed that role. I became, which followed me in life in terms of making sure everybody else is taken care of, and making sure you provide, and making sure everybody's okay, and then yours comes last. So going through that system, having, her going through what she went through, you kind of have to assume this role, whether you like it or not. And then adds the anxiety of, oh my gosh, can I really do this?
Yeah.
Right? She has overcome so much. She's in front of a mic talking into a camera, kicking ass in real estate, right?
Exactly.
You've overcome it. You literally, just hearing what you did and the steps you had to go through, you had no choice, right? So you were forced to become an adult at a very young age. And there are a lot of us out there in the world today who have done that, who are doing that, and don't know any other way. And it's unfortunate that we couldn't be children, that we couldn't be that child, right? But there's something to be said about that resolve. Because look at her now. Look at me now. Look at you now, right? So you went through this whole process. And this question goes for both of you. How did you manage what you didn't know it was anxiety then? All you knew was, oh my gosh, this fear, fight or flight, is that what it's called? Fight or flight? You had this fight or flight mindset. How did you manage it then and now? What's different? How do you both manage this then? How did you then and now?
So how I managed it then was escaping it. always just running away from the issue. I mean, hence moving from Oregon to San Diego at 17.
Mind you, it's not a bad move.
No, it wasn't bad at all. Clearly, I'm still here.
Yeah.
But it definitely was for me to run away and get away. And I knew there was something deeply rooted in me, that there was a reason. Who does that at 17, you know? So the way I dealt with it then was by running away from everything and not facing it, and really just kind of accepting that this is who I am, this is how I'll be, and this is what my family is going to look like, and generations to come, this is just it for us.
Yeah.
And so I got tired of that. I got tired of just accepting it. And so the way that I deal with it now is it's head on. It's look me in the face. I don't know if you guys watched Insecure with Issa Rae, but that show, she like talks to herself in the mirror, and she like raps sometimes, and like I'll get my hands going, and I'll talk to myself the way that I talk to people when I'm mad at them. And I like really face myself and like really like, what do you want, girl? Like, what are you doing? Like, why are you crying? What is wrong with you?
So do you have like a toothbrush or a brush to make it look like a microphone?
Whatever is in my hands, you know? Like, all just with my hands, like a music video.
Like, what are you doing?
And I'll do it. I mean, sometimes when I'm like in the depths of my actual, like the ugly sobbing cry, where you like want to be in the fetal position, I'll go to my mirror and I'm like, girl, look at you. You don't want to be like this. It's okay to be like this, but you don't want to be like this.
It's interesting because we all have our spiritual side, right? Whether it's Buddha, God, whomever you ascribe to that gets you through this life, right? For me, it's God. I'm reminded when we're going through tough times, and I've shared this with Tammy, even in times when I was in the greatest pain, that life isn't happening to you. It's happening for you. And anything that you're going through, it's not here to stay, it's here to pass. So if we can allow ourselves to get in front of that mirror and bitch slap yourself, literally for all intent and purposes, bitch slap yourself and go, hold up. My maker didn't create me to be like this. I'm destined for more than that. In fact, my crown is kind of tilted right now. Let me reshift that shit and put it straight up, because you're a queen. And you're a queen and you can handle it, and you're never given anything that you can't handle. So I love that, getting in the mirror and just talking. That's your therapy. That's your management right there. Whereas some people would not be doing that. They would be drinking. They would be doing whatever they do, right? So kudos to you. I like that. We're going to have to give her a shout out. Tammy, how did you manage it then, and how do you manage it now?
Well, then I managed it by drinking everything under the sun. Well, vodka was my choice. But now through, therapy and through the intensive outpatient treatment that I did and all that, I have learned that instead of running away, it's kind of similar to you, my runaway was drinking. I learned that I had to face all of those demons. And when I faced those demons, they were obviously demons and very ugly, but when I faced those, it made it easier for me to move on. And I realized that without alcohol, I still am funny. I still am, I'm confident. I think I'm more confident now than I ever was.
Yes, for sure. And even in the years that I've known you, you've definitely become more, for sure, because you're comfortable in your own skin.
Yes.
It's kind of like when we hit a certain age as women, we're like, okay, here's the deal. This is who I am.
Right.
Take all my stuff, or you don't. Because if you don't, then see you later, because I don't need you. And we don't, and that's not meant in like an FU way.
No.
It kind of is, but it isn't. It's just more like, listen, I've earned my stripes. Right?
When you can accept yourself and take yourself for who you are, which is what I had to do. And you can be at peace with that, be it with whatever you did in the past, whatever. If you can accept yourself, then, and be okay with everything, which is what I had to do, then the confidence just built and built and built. And now I'm like, you know what? Tammy knows this. I got knocked down a couple weeks ago. And let me tell you, I came back and I'm back better than ever. Learned a lot, never again, and here I am. So it's a constant, but I'm proud of myself, and I'll say that all day long. And you know what? To those of you who say you're selfish because you put yourself first and you do this and you do that, you know what? I am going to put myself first.
That's right.
Because if I'm not me and putting myself first, then I'm not going to be what I need to be for you, for my clients,
Exactly.
for my family, for anybody.
Exactly.
So abso-stinking-lutely, you can call me selfish all stinking day long.
Absolutely.
Yeah, for sure.
And I think as a reminder too, and to be so gracious and patient with yourself, because
Right.
it's not like when you get to a point where you're managing your mental health in a more healthy way that you've mastered it
Yep.
and that it's done and
Yep.
that you're not going to be presented with issues that are new. It's how you manage it and
Right.
how you deal with it with yourself, and that you don't just embed it and have it turn into something really negative. You use it as that lesson, and that you're always going to get smacked in the face.
Listen,
Right.
in life, they say that, life is not guaranteed in the sense that you'll never have a storm.
It's how you make it through that storm.
Absolutely. We will always have storms, but they will never win. And we need to know that, again, whomever your higher power is, it surrounds whatever you're going through. And you might be right in the middle of it, but if there's anything that we've all can say without a doubt, it's we're stronger because of our trials. We're stronger because of the challenges. And we have this incredible resolve that we would not have otherwise known had we not gone through each of what we've gone through. And I feel like, again, for those of you out there, it's so important to rely on family if you have family, if they're supportive of you, and not fall prey to what society tells you should do.
Right.
Because society will tell you, don't worry about it, you can have one drink. No, I can't have just one drink. Well, just take a sip, it tastes really
I've
good.
had friends tell me that. I'm
Right.
like, really?
Right.
Oh, so you're going to tell an alcoholic,
Right.
one day you're going to be able to have that glass
Yeah,
of wine.
yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
I don't think so.
Yeah.
It's
incredible that how society just puts this pressure
Yeah.
on how to look, how to be, how to do. And at the end of the day, and it goes back to our age, and it goes back to as being a strong, fierce, independent woman, you're not going to dictate how I live my life. I'm going to rewrite my history. I'm going to rewrite it, right? And with help, obviously, with those and managing it appropriately. If you could give a few tips to someone who has gone through what you're going through, who might be going through something crazy too, and are making a career change, kind of not really a career change, but kind of a move into the right direction in terms of what you want to do, and you have kids, and you've gone through what you've gone through, what would you give that person? What advice would you give them?
I would say that I know it sounds so cliche, but I think when you are someone like me where you've been that strong independent, that you don't have to be that strong independent, that it's totally okay to have the community and to ask for help, and that when you really start to step away and just kind of stop being so much and see who is really in your circle and are they supporting you? Are they saying have another drink?
Yeah.
Or are they saying no, let's go for a run, or let's get our real estate license, or let's do something great.
Which is yes.
It was all around yes.
Yes.
I think that's when you really start to be open to saying, I can ask for help and I want to ask for help. And
Yeah.
it's a good thing to ask for help.
Oh,
And
it is. Yes.
So I think that is my number one, is to ask for help and to really put your health first. And
Yes.
I mean that in every way. I mean that with eating right. I mean that with going to the gym or yoga or physical activity, because once you treat your body right, that mind starts to connect.
Oh, yes.
And then that weird moment of like, oh,
Yes.
all of a sudden mind, body, and soul
Yeah.
really are connected,
Yeah,
and
yeah,
it works.
yeah.
It does
Yeah.
really work.
That's
And
the one thing that I learned through my healing over the last year is, fuck, our bodies are amazing. And if you give it the right environment, it will heal. And it wants you to be happy. It wants you to be whole. It wants you to be healed and restored. And just, it wants you to, we jack it up. We jack it up with all the crazy shit that we do. And granted, listen, I'm not perfect. I'm not preaching from the top saying I'm perfect and I'm all of this. I'm simply saying my journey jacked
preaching
me
from
up.
experience.
And it's a very real,
Yeah.
like your journey and like your journey is very real, but you have to give yourself the right environment.
You do.
You have to.
You have to surround yourself.
Yes.
That's the thing. And in my non-drinking, I have lost some friends.
Oh, yeah.
Absolutely. There are people that I cannot be around,
Yeah.
that I don't want to be around because they are a trigger.
Mm.
And I've had a pretty easy time of not drinking, like literally, I'm very blessed that it's been a lot easier than what I thought it was going to be. But there are people that I have lost that I have chosen not to be around, and that was my decision. Whether I pushed them away on purpose or whether it was, you know, subconsciously or whatever, they're not in my life right now for a reason. So you have to surround yourself with people that you are comfortable with and that can support you in what you're doing. Same for you, same for me. I mean, Tammy has been a amazing person. I mean, we met and immediately bonded.
I knew she was going to be in my life
It
forever.
was just, but it's, I mean, and I didn't have her in my life a year ago.
Yeah.
And I would be devastated if I didn't have her
over
in my
a year,
life.
actually.
now.
Look at me, the jealous girlfriend. No, it's been over a year. It's like, don't you forget our anniversary. Don't.
Oh, God. Oh, no, now the pressure's on.
Yeah, right.
So, but yeah, it's very important to surround yourself with the right people because they can take you down in 2 seconds.
Yeah. Or they can bring you up.
Yes, they can.
I
I love the positive that you put on that.
And that's really the truth too with, I think, making those small changes, is even like with working out or eating healthy and your skin getting right. Once you start seeing those little changes, you realize that you're so much more capable of what you were at. And if I can do this, then what else can I do?
You mean you're more capable than settling?
Than settling.
Tammy said something to me a long time ago when I was in a relationship with someone while I was healing. And she said it was very profound and it resonated with me. And when I just made the decision to leave that person, what she said came true. And it was this: by staying in that relationship, because he was unhealthy, his lifestyle was healthy, it was not conducive to my healing and my journey where I was. She said, by staying in that relationship, you're delaying your health, your healing, and watch what happens when you leave the relationship, how quickly things change for you and you heal. And can I tell you, the minute I made the decision, my whole outlook changed. My body felt I'm more empowered. My everything about me it purged everything that was keeping me in that place stagnant and not healing as quickly as possible. My whole world changed.
You want to know what's funny about that, Tammy?
Yeah.
Is I just listened to you say that.
Yeah.
And I just took my own advice that I gave her
Yes.
2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
I just took my own, you know, you can dish it out all day long.
Yeah.
I just took my own advice that I gave her.
Yeah.
And that's crazy.
Yeah.
And how empowered I feel right now because of it.
Yeah.
So, wow, that's...
Isn't it? It's I'm getting the
interesting.
chills. Yeah,
that's-
thinking about it.
That's insane. And it took me a long stinking time to take that advice.
Well,
but-
you were going through an 8-year battle with it too, and you knew from start to finish. But we all make choices to stay for whatever reason.
Yeah.
And it could be timing. It could be we're not ready yet. It could be we don't have the strength to. It could be because whatever's waiting on the other side isn't ready yet.
Right.
Whatever it is, the universe will show you. Friends will come along and tell you. People will come into your life and go, you need to do this. When the student is ready, the teacher appears. And I will ascribe to that for the rest of my life. Few tips to someone who has gone through what you've been through in terms of managing your anxiety now. If they're sitting out there and they're like, you know what, I've had my last drink, or I've been sober for a week, or I'm sober for 6 months, what sage advice would you give them right now in terms of managing that stress?
First of all, you have to understand that it's going to take time. And I know that sounds really, I'll take your word, cliche, but literally you have to get through that day, that week, that month, because I'm going to tell you it's not easy because you're changing your complete lifestyle from, drinking every day, at one point all the time. You have to realize that you're going to start feeling better and better and better and better. And that is the amazing part, is when you start to feel better. And like you said, when you're talking about working out and your skin feeling better and this and that, all of that, like when my brain literally started to feel, I guess, normal, and I started seeing the changes of the outside of me and the physical and the mental and everything. So I just want people to know, anybody out there that's trying to quit anything that's harmful to them, any addiction, that it takes time, and to give yourself that time, and to know that, you know what, it's going to be better tomorrow. And I know, God, I'm going to get upset about it. It's going to be better tomorrow than it is today. And I know that sounds so cliche.
It's true.
But it's true.
Yeah.
It is so true.
Yeah.
And when you're on the other side, which I'll always struggle with alcoholism. It's in my blood. But when you're on the other side, the side I'm on right now, it's an amazing feeling. And when you feel that and you know that, then it's amazing. But it takes time.
Yeah. And you've come through. Look at
You
you.
have to be patient.
And your business has just taken off. It's incredible.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I have to say, managing mental health through transitions, whatever that looks like, is beyond important. And however you do it, stick to it. And there are ways in which we live our lives that will either help that process or hinder that process. And there are 5 things that I say to myself every morning when I get out of bed. And I refer these 5 words to every person that I come in contact with, whether it's my friends, my family, my colleagues, my clients, new clients, the person at the grocery store, whomever I come in contact with. There are 5 things that I always say, you know what, today, God, help me today to stay humble. Help me to conduct myself in humility. Help me to extend love. Help me to extend respect. And help me to always stay in a place of gratitude. That right there shields me from any trigger that I might have, and there are a lot of them every day. That right there shields me from, I have this little aura, this light around me that I know that if somebody is in front of me having a bad day, and you extend kindness and gratitude and grace and mercy to them, regardless of how they're treating you, they look at you like, hold on a second, I was just really rude to you, and they don't know how to respond to you. Why are you so nice to me? Why? Because I have nothing but love for you, and you have love for me, and I'm going to extend that love to you. So I feel like when we have that mindset, regardless of what we're going through, and it's so hard sometimes because when we're going through that stuff, when you can overlook the circumstances, overlook how you feel, overlook how it might look, and know that with 100% confidence, it's going to be okay. And that tomorrow brings a new day. And I get emotional about this too, because it's like we can stay stuck in that darkness, but we know that tomorrow is a new day and we have a choice. And we're managing our health the best that we can. We're managing our anxiety the best that we can. We have been through a shit ton of stuff that we could probably write a screenplay between the 3 of us. And yet we're here standing. And I'm here to tell you, I commend you for taking a step towards a fresh start. I commend you for doing what you did at a young age. So that tells anybody out there, you too can do this. Yes. And you're going to kick ass in real estate. I know you are, without a doubt. Plus, you've got us. Yes. No shameless plug there or anything. But kudos to you and congratulations. And hats off to you, Tammy K. I've always known you were a badass bitch.
Thank you.
You know, hashtag BAB, whatever. And you continue to defy the odds. And you continue to show up. And you continue to, in spite of how you feel, this girl will show up when on her deathbed. Like on her deathbed. And there are few people in this world that are as dedicated and loyal as you. And I'm honored to have you in my life. I'm honored to have you as a business partner. And I can't wait for us to just kick ass and take names like we already have started. Yes. And I can't wait to have you part of this journey with us. And I'm grateful for you being on here today. For all intent and purposes, fresh starts. We all have that opportunity. We all have the same 24 hours a day. We all have 7 days a week, although nothing is guaranteed. But what we do have is when you do have those 24 hours in front of you and you're looking for a fresh start, it doesn't matter what it is. Take that first step. Take a blind step of faith and know that you can do it. If you are suffering from mental health, or if you know someone who's suffering from mental health, get help. There are a ton of resources out there, 800 numbers. There are organizations that help you manage, if it's suicidal, if it's anxiety, if it's addicted to medication, or you need just someone to talk with. Please reach out and reach out to us. Our information will be down below on any topic. Alcoholism, going from a foster home, having to go through, the addictions in your family. Mental health has been a big issue in my family. My mother's highly addicted to pain meds and to mental health, all mental health issues. I went through breast implant illness. Now I have a ton of allergies and severe health issues, but guess what? We're the healthiest we've ever been, and we're here. So please reach out. Be good to yourself. Start your day every day. And say, today with intention, I'm going to stay humble. I will act in humility. I will be respectful, and I will love, and I will be in full gratitude. San Diego, we love you. My guests love you. Peace out, San Diego. Have a fantastic day today. You're alive, you're breathing, and that's what matters. Peace out.